Welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Alleman. My wife, Michelle, depending on which side of the screen you have. She's over here. We're in two different rooms in the same building. Just because I was on the phone and we're chatting, but she's going to come put her head through the wall here in a second. And but welcome to our call. We do this call every Monday night, 7:30. We try and keep it locked down to about a half hour. Sometimes we go a little bit long, but we got a lot of great things coming up. First and foremost, I need everybody who has not, and Fitz will talk about it tomorrow on the 10 a.m. call, the sales meeting call. But if you've not let me know you're going to be here present in live and in person, okay, for the boot camp coming up next week from Tuesday. It's on Tuesday. I forget the hours, like 1 o'clock to 5. And then the Wednesday, we're going to do like 9 to noon. If you're here present with us, okay, we're going to have like, a little get together after when we're done at 5. We're going to do some hamburgers, I think, on the grill or something. We're not going to be doing prime rib or steak like that. Y'all calm down. It's not that kind of a deal. But we'll do something, and we'll try not to burn it. And we're going to if we can get a truck, we'll get some our cornhole boards out here. We're just going to have a great time. We want to make it fun. We're going to have a great time. If you're remote and you say, I don't want to go see people, I just want to watch it online, no worries. We'll have a link published before the call, before the training happens, and you'll be able to jump in and watch it online.
Now, I do got to tell you that. But we'd rather see you in person if you're okay with that. Because
we're not doing FaceTime to you if you can't make it physically. Just after it's all done, we're going to go have some fun, and we're going to crown some champions, I think.
There's like 6 offices that are hosting, and so we're going to have some really
and what I was going to explain, some of y'all been through this before, but imagine it being, we have some of the best people in the Alliance that's part of the Fitz group, going to be training. I got an agenda around here. It is already jam-packed. We're still working on it, but it's going to have different, segments where we're going to go from office to office, but we're all watching the same presentation at the same time. So down here, if it's our turn to talk, you'll see us live physically talking. Everybody else is going to see us on the screen, just like this is. So guys, don't miss that. Just don't miss that at all. So that's my spiel for the moment. I usually do it at the end. Prime organic grass-fed burgers. I want to say there was a horror movie around that, Jeff, but I just don't know. So anyway.
So hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, before we turn this over to this training portion, I just want to reach out and introduce Betty Blankenship to the team. She's brand new. She came to our boot camp last week, and we're excited to have you on our team, Betty. And so welcome to the team call. This is where we can chat and we can do training and anything else that you guys want to do. Back to you, Mike.
All right. Well, I was going to turn it back over to you to introduce what we're going to do tonight for topic. I know we got some things around organizing, which I know some of y'all are very, very good at it, and some of y'all it's kind of questionable. But we wanted to kind of bring that to you because whether you're in the field or not in the field, whether you're doing it remotely or not, the biggest thing to think about is like you do have to be somewhat prepared to go into the home and how you do all that. So I think the Megan Yickey was gonna try and lead the charge on that. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
All right. Well, if you don't know who Megan Yickey is, she's an incredible person. I've only known her for a short time, and actually I've known her all her life. Not all my life because there had to be some time, whatever. But known her all my life. Recently married, just hit their 1-year anniversary with to Jonathan Yickey, who's also on the call and on the team. It looks like he's out in the car, out in the field, and they're just powerhouses. I mean, they together in the last few months did 70,000, or there was 2 months back to back, a total of $140,000 in premium. That is a lot to create, and you can't do that being disorganized, right? And so I'm going to turn it over to her. Let her, love Megan. She's like a good combination between me and Michelle. So if you don't like me or you don't like Michelle, you're going to like her. So take it away.
Good description. Yeah, so, well, hey, y'all. If I haven't met you, I'm pretty sure I know everybody on here, but again, my name's Megan Yankee. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, there's no way that you can do high volume without preparation and organization. What do they say? Proper planning prevents poor performance. Remember that. That's a good one to write down, because I know we are going to preach to you a lot if you're new or not new. Appointments. Because at the end of the day, if you're not talking to customers or you're not booking appointments, you have nothing in the books. You have nothing in the pipeline. And as salespeople, as people who are commission based, we've got to have people to see. So I don't want this conversation to turn into something that I'm not trying to make it. I want you to prep for the appointments that you have, but not necessarily prep until the appointments are booked. Appointments. I cannot say that enough. You have to have appointments. But there is some crucial things that I believe make somebody, will not necessarily make you become a better producer, but will help you be a producer that can write more business consistently, and cleaner apps and a cleaner way to do it. So I just want to talk about how to prep for appointments and what you should be bringing along with you on those appointments. The last thing I want you to do is go to a home and not have applications ready to write, because then you're not helping anybody, right? You're not helping yourself, you're not helping your client, you're really just wasting everybody's time. So a few things to just talk about first. When you've got the appointment booked, there's crucial things that you need to think about. What type of lead is this, right? So if it's a final expense lead, we're always going to help the people with what they asked for. So if we're prepping for a final expense appointment, what types of applications am I going to need? That should be something that you should ask the person that is mentoring or coaching you. So, hey, like if Michelle is my mentor and I just booked 6 appointments, 2 were final expense and 4 were mortgage protection, before I go into those appointments, I should be having that conversation with her saying, hey, this is the age of the customer, this is the type of lead. What applications do I need to have ready to write? Because if you're not assuming the sale before you walk into a home or before you get on a phone call ready to make a current, or what's it called, a phone sale, if you're not prepared mentally that you are going there and assuming the sale that you're going to help them, you're probably not going to. So that's another thing, mindset, right? But I'll get there in a second. So have the applications ready, whatever that means for you. For 3 years, 2.5 years, I used only paper apps. And I know my mom can attest to this, Jeff can attest to this, Katura, Stephanie. I know a lot of you guys used paper apps only for a long time too. So during that day and age, when we didn't have all this technology, we would have these milk crates. And I've still got a ton of, they're still down here, milk crates that we would carry, and I still have one in the back of my car just in case my iPad dies, but filled with applications so that I would never run into a situation where I was not prepared. Okay. So whether you have paper applications from the insurance companies directly or paper apps that you're printing, or an iPad or a laptop, make sure that you know how to get into the e-app. And if you're following the system, you should have know how to get to the e-apps, because you should have written a first policy on yourself, and that would have taught you how to get to the e-apps. If not, if you haven't done that, you should practice how to get to an e-app before you go into the home. Okay. If you're not using e-apps and you're using an iPad, I'm a big believer in Notability and the paper apps on the iPad. You guys all know that. I think it's a great way to expedite your appointments while still writing a lot of business by doing things on Notability through your iPad.
Hey,
If
Megan,
you don't,
stop
Yes.
there for a second, because I know people are going like, you just dropped a whole bunch of words and we're not sure what you're talking about. Like
Yeah.
iPad, that's one of them things, with the screen on it, you touch it like it's like a bigger version of your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And Notability is an app. I think it costs like, I don't know, $9-10 maybe.
$10.
How much?
$10. One time.
$10. Costs like $10. But here's what it is. It allows you to take a PDF file, a file that looks like a piece of paper, and write on it with the Apple Pen, right? And so it's just like if you're writing on paper, except it's electronic. It takes some organization around that, but that if you have that, that's something that we can talk to you about when you come out. It's a little more complicated to get it all organized, just like in a 5-minute call, but does it make sense?
So yes, thank you for stopping me. And regardless of what you have or don't have, let us know what you do have, what you can work with, so that we can help you figure out what's going to be the best avenue for you based on what you have or don't have. Okay. So that's one thing to prep for an appointment. Make sure you have applications and that you know which applications you're going to be leaning towards, right? The next thing to prep for an appointment is your mindset. Jonathan, you're probably the best at this. So if you want to take over this section, you can, but mindset before an appointment. I'll just tell you what I do, and then you can kind of take over. Like, regardless of how I feel that day, because I'll be honest with you, some days I'm fired up, ready to go see customers, and some days I'm like, man, this is one of those days I'm going to have to push through. And I know that if I go sit in if I get in my car to drive to somebody's house, to sit in the house that somebody invited me to, and I've already done all of that work, I have to make sure that I'm mentally in the right mindset to really serve that customer. So if I'm not feeling my best that day, there's some things that I'll do to help me get in a better mind. Podcasts, I typically like to listen to either sometimes I'll go back and re-listen to sales meetings from like the top 5, just so I can kind of get inspired again and try to take some tips off of what they did. Or I'm going to sit and listen to a Stephen Furtick podcast to make sure my heart and my mind is in the right place. Whatever it is for you that makes you feel good, that's what you want. And I don't mean drugs, because you don't want to do that. If that's what makes you feel good, don't do that before you go into an appointment. But whatever makes you feel good physically, mentally, have that ready to go in your car or whatever you need to do before you go to appointments, just to make sure you're going to be ready to be there. Jonathan, I saw you try to unmute yourself, so I'll let you go.
Good job, baby.
Hey, Jonathan, before you get started, we're going to start a GoFundMe account for your wine tree behind you.
Oh, yeah?
It's got like one little branch.
It's got two.
But that's the point. We're party people. You can't keep it full.
It's fall, man. You need to have some colors. You need some red. You need some white, some rosé. Just,
There's 2
colors.
of them.
All right, man. That's it. Just want to say that.
Hey, fun fact about that wine bottle that you see right there. That wine bottle, Jonathan, it's the one that's in view. I got that bottle of wine the first time I ever went to Italy on a trip, and I got it in 2015 while we were in Venice, and I haven't opened it or drank it. I'm saving it for a special day.
Sweet.
Anyway, side note.
So don't grab that one if you visit in their apartment and make the mistake of
yeah,
opening it
I'll
up.
be really mad.
Yeah, mindset's really huge. What you value typically will pay you value, if that makes any sense. So if you value the fact that it's a privilege to go see people, you're probably going to do the things that you need to do because you believe that's a value and a privilege. I know I'm getting super like psychological, but it's serious. If you don't value it that much, then you're probably not going to do the things that you need to do to be successful. So first off, you have to value the fact that it's a privilege to go help people. I don't know how else to say that, but Stuff I do, I think your physical body has a lot to do with your mental and spiritual situation. If you don't believe that, that's fine. That's just something I believe. So I will try to exercise on the days that I go in the field. I'm exercising to help myself feel physically better. I'm also reading for 15 minutes before I start my appointments, and I try to wake up 2 hours before my first appointment. If I need to work out, it's 3 hours because you want 2 total hours before the appointment. Yeah, just can't stress enough on your thought process. So if you're taking notes, you can write down right thinking leads to right actions, which leads to the right results. So if you're not thinking right, you're not going to take the right steps and you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And you're going to be mad at me. You're going to be like, Johnny, it's your fault because it didn't work. And I'm like, well, it does work. Maybe you didn't do some steps. Maybe your thinking was wrong. So therefore you took the wrong actions and got the wrong results. The good news is you're the problem and the solution. And I'm mainly talking to myself, but those are facts, which means if you're not getting the results you want, it's cool. You can fix it. Right? So, but that's my mindset talk, I guess. I don't want to stop you, Megan.
No, you're good. I thought my mom was trying to say something.
No.
Michelle?
I was gonna say, just, Johnny nailed it on the mindset. And sometimes even it's something like, here's just an example. Like if, and Megan's a good example. She just did this on the phone a minute ago, but let me just give you an example. Like if you get told by a customer that they need to think about it, and you really just think you don't know how to respond, and just basically walk out or get off the phone. It just means that you need to lean into us so we can kind of help you care more for the client. Because when you actually care more for them, it's like trying to save your child that's under that car, that you got to pick up the car to save the child. You're going to do things that you would not normally do because you care so much. And that just comes from inside the heart, but you got to have it around us to get that caring part, right, Johnny?
Well, what Michelle's trying to say is she believes and is extremely convicted in this business more than everyone else. That's why she's consistently at the top. That's what she's trying to say. She already believes and cares more about her family, and that's transferred to the families that she's helping. Okay? That's in a much more concise form of what she's trying to say. She's convicted herself first and cares about her family, and that's something that gets transferred to other people. And y'all have family you care about too, so you can do the same thing.
And as she's been doing this for as long as she has, she's had multiple experiences where now that it started with all of this from the beginning, right? She prepped herself to be ready for the appointment by having the right applications. And then she got her mind right. And then she started caring about the client when she got there, because it became more emotional and physical, because you could see that person, help that person, feel that person, hear that person, right? And then she's had experiences now that make her even more convicted because of all the families that have thanked her for what she's done. The amount of people that have asked you to go to the funerals of your clients that have passed away just blows my mind even to this day. Like, she has talked. People have asked her to speak at their family member's funeral as the life insurance agent. Like, if you're not connecting with your customers that deeply, then Try it. Try it.
And Megan, it even starts on the phone call, because I know that a lot of new agents struggle with the phone call. It is the hardest thing in the very beginning. And it's that same conviction. Your job is to lead that customer into that next step. That next step is you go see them. You set an appointment on the phone with them. You do the presentation right then and there, because we know how important it is. An example, I'll give you this one example. I had a customer that I did an annual review with last week. Maybe it was Friday. And she thought she had changed her beneficiary because she got divorced. And this was a year or two ago she got divorced. But she hadn't. And then over the weekend, like, we were going to email her the form, and over the weekend, it didn't get done on Friday. She's texting me at like midnight on the weekend, or 10 o'clock at night, how important this was to her. So I texted her this morning that we had emailed her the form to please confirm she received it, and please get it back to me today, because I know how important this is to her. Now, she still hadn't gotten me the form yet back. Okay. But I have to take proactive steps on my part to know that I'm doing everything I could. She'll get it back to me tomorrow. She wants another policy on her daughter. But then explain to them what they need to do. And then I do that. I explain to her, in 2 weeks, you need to make sure you received a letter saying it's changed. If you don't, call me so we can fix it.
Right. And that's something I've learned a lot. What you're describing right now is not necessarily the appointment prep, but it's actually like it's the 7 touches. And I've learned that a lot. I've learned a lot from you in that way, that, you know, you control your customer's experience from the first phone call. Like, I came from the restaurant industry, and the first person that had an impact on the customer when they walked in was the host. If the hostess didn't have a good attitude when that customer walked in, they immediately had a sour taste in their mouth about their whole experience they're going to have in the restaurant. It's the same thing from the first phone call that you make to that customer. They may have had a sour experience at a different restaurant. They might have a preconceived notion on how they feel about the life insurance agent based on an experience they've had in the past. So remember that you control everything about what the experience is that this customer is going to have. So this is similar to what Jonathan was just saying, like, you're the problem and the solution, which is the best part of this all. Because yes, sometimes, I mean, like, those times where I remember negative customers walking into the restaurant and me having to put a smile on my face and make sure they had a great experience, even though they were rude to me about the long wait, like, that's not fun, right? But it's so important that we make sure that even if a customer isn't reacting how we want them to react on the phone, even from the very beginning, that we still control the conversation and that we control the experience. So that's what she was just saying there. From the beginning of your relationship with that customer all the way to when that person passes away. Even after they pass away, you're going to be involved with the family and the death claim and all those things. But you've got to take personal responsibility for that and act like it's your own mom, dad, brother, cousin, child. I tell my clients, I wouldn't treat you like if you were my dad, if you were my mom, if you were my grandma, if you were my aunt, if you were my uncle, this is what I would want. This is what I would want for you. Like, I would do the same thing for my mom as what I'm doing for you now. And so controlling all of it from the beginning to the end, knowing that it will all come back on you, right? Like, you can do whatever you want here, but at the end of the day, you control the whole thing from the beginning to the end. If you don't know what to do, that's why we are here. And we want to help you. We pay staff to help you. We will spend hours on the phone with you in the evening, in the morning, on the weekends. I don't know how much else I can tell or show you that we care about your experience as the agent here. But we want you to succeed, take personal responsibility, ask for help, and yeah, that's all I got.
And to reiterate, the training was really, really good. But to reiterate what Megan said at the beginning, appointments at the end of the day. So if you don't feel like you're good at setting them, let's talk about it. And we'll get you very good. I will get you so good at setting appointments, you will not want to talk to me anymore. If you're willing. If you're willing to get that good. Like, we're here, we'll spend tons of hours on the phone with you. But just want to make that point.
All right, we'll keep this call short and sweet. We've got 2 minutes left. Any questions, comments, concerns, real quick, and then we'll close out. Okay.
I
Actually,
don't have my
just-
Jeopardy soundtrack.
Just to make sure, Mike, you want us at the office Tuesday and Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and just making sure I heard that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So next Tuesday and
Tuesday-
Wednesday.
yeah, so tomorrow morning sales meeting, if you haven't already sent your numbers in, please go ahead and do that so that they can be reported on tomorrow's call and you can get the recognition that you deserve. And that's all we got. Anything else, Mom, Dad?
Yep. Some of y'all may have gotten a special new link for reporting numbers. If you did that, thank you. We're trying something new, but still go if you can do it for me on the ARC. Report those numbers that way as well. And yeah, so I know we
If you're
have.
on the Yankee team, just send them to me.
So we have the statement that we had X amount of spots here for the boot camp, but the reality is we've got multiple spaces here. So if we get to, we're not going to be crazy. We're going to have things spread out. Bring your mask. We'll have hand sanitizer, all that fun stuff. Okay, but if we seem like we're getting a little bit too cramped up, we'll just move. We'll add some more space where TVs are. So we'll make it work because we want you here for the social, right? But I do need to know if you're planning to be here that day. It's not this Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the next week, and that way I can make sure I get enough food. Otherwise, I'm going to be going like, all I got was like 3 people, so I brought like 4 hamburgers. So I don't know. So anyway, we're looking forward to having everybody. It's going to be fun. Anything else, Michelle?
Get pizza.
Pizza. You can order pizza too. Great idea, Jim.
We can do that too. Love seeing you guys. Let's keep it short. Let's get out there and get your numbers in. Don't miss the call tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock with the FITS group. If you don't know where that is, get on Slack. If you don't know anything about Slack, talk to Megan Hurd. Because if you said, I don't know how to get on Slack, we're going to talk to Megan Hurd, and then she's going to talk to you about it, and it's going to be terrible.
Megan, you look like a movie star. Stop it.
Me? Oh, I don't know how. Thanks. Yeah, don't get me in trouble, guys. If you don't know about Slack,
Yeah.
let me know.
It's called the hashtag Save Megan. There you go. All right, guys.
Love you guys.
We'll see y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.